Just getting some water. We went to the restroom.
Yeah, oh, we already stole some. Yeah. It was in no time, it was 2 days of rain, I was like, oh, those suckers are good.
They gotta plumb out the,
Yeah, there were, I think you only have like 3 of them that actually have raspberries, the rest of them don't
there's only
yet.
just a few in that one end that are ripe.
Yeah,
I ate some of them, half a dozen the other day.
oh, there's probably not any now, because O took all of them. I ain't gonna lie.
They won't go to waste, the birds don't want them.
That's exactly why I'm trying to take her out right now, I was like, if we don't go now, I was like, we're done for it, the birds are gonna eat them all again.
Thank you for your patience, we're just waiting for Dan to come back. We are in open session now.
Is that like?
Okay, so as you know, the board had a discussion with our legal representation. We've now in an open session, Jenny, I'm assuming you have authority to speak on behalf of the Black Creek Rescue Service.
I do.
Okay, so we've got basically 3 questions that we came up with. The first one would be, and then this is, I guess I won't try to explain the question, I'll just say that.
Before we go there, do we wanna make a motion to discuss this?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yep,
Just
you're
before we
right.
get too far.
Yep. Item number 3, discuss and consider EMS service. I'm looking for a motion for that.
Make a motion that we can just, to discuss EMS service.
Discuss and consider. Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded to discuss and consider EMS service. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. So now I'll start with what I started. All right, so under what authority did Black Creek Rescue Service stop service? Was there a formality from rural fire to do so? Was there a meeting?
Due to the pending litigation, I'm gonna deny that comment. And I will, address that back to our attorney, Rescue's attorney.
Okay. Second question, if rural fire validly terminated service, why are you holding $16,279.46?
Again, I'm gonna put that back on to our attorney, and I also want to clarify that Black Creek Rescue is not holding that, that is rural fire holding that money. Black Creek Rescue does not hold taxpayer money paid to, for ambulance service, through taxpayer funds.
Okay. Third question, if the board agrees to continue negotiating the 2026 agreement, will Black Creek Rescue Service resume service by July 1st, 2026?
I guess I'm gonna have to ask you to define negotiations. We're in 8 months of negotiations. I'm not sure.
Well, we're we're currently in the process of negotiating, some aspects of the 2026 agreement. We've already had plenty of conversations regarding that, some financial information, and potentially an audit. If we resume that negotiation in good faith and come up with an agreement in a short period of time, hopefully, will you resume service by July 1st, 2026?
As much as I'd love to answer that, I don't feel like I am in a position to answer that without discussing legal counsel. We didn't have time to get our attorneys here. We just found out about this last night. So we would have liked to bring legal representation with us for those types of questions. I will tell you that Black Creek Rescue does want to service your residents. If you guys want an audit, that's fine. We just need you guys to pay for it because we don't have enough money to pay for it. If you want to do the ad hoc committee, that's fine too. I would like to see kind of a drop dead date because we've dragged this thing on 8 months and we don't even have 8 months left of this year. So, honestly, if the village wants to have new software, that's fine. As long as it's HIPAA compliant, that's fine. As long as the village pays for it, because we just don't have the money. Resolving this conflict is in the utmost important to us. We have people that live in the village, we have friends, and we have family that live here. We've heard stories of the timeline to get County Rescue here, and County Rescue is great. That isn't any bash on them whatsoever. We work with them. They're very nice, very thorough. But in that same sense, I will tell you that we have heard some stories that are alarming with the time frame. I would request that you allow me time to discuss this with our attorney. I know you're in a time crunch because of potentially a contract ending and another one needing to be signed. That's what I can offer you. I don't want to say yes and then have this negotiations drag out, 4 more months. I think the last questions we were trying to figure out is who's authorized to drive an ambulance. So, I guess I need more detail on negotiation.
Well, as you stated, we're out of time. Okay,
Okay, I understand.
so we had a motion that the board was gonna discuss, provided we could get an assurance that Black Creek Rescue Service could start service July 1st. In my opinion, the village has been trying to negotiate in good faith along these lines. Obviously, things haven't worked out as well as we had hoped. So, what do we do? We wanna discuss that motion that we would like to discuss.
That's where we gotta start.
Okay.
Alright, so I'll make a motion that the board resolves to negotiate a 2026 service agreement with Rural Fire for uninterrupted EMS service contingent upon agreement to provide service during the entirety of the negotiation period without interruption. The board further resolves that in the event unconditional service is not restored by 7/1/26, then out of necessity, the village will provide service with County Rescue.
Did you mention the dates?
Yep.
Yes, you did.
Alright. So we have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded, if you wouldn't mind reading it again.
Yep. The board resolves to negotiate a 2026 service agreement with rural fire for uninterrupted EMS service contingent upon agreement to provide service during the entirety of the negotiation period without interruption. The board further resolves that in the event unconditional service is not restored by 7/1/26, then out of necessity, the village will procure service with county rescue.
Yeah, I have a motion made and seconded. Or did I got a second, correct? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Okay.
Can I make a comment?
I think that was all the business on the
Yeah,
agenda.
it's all the business on the agenda, so, this meeting is concluded. Thank you for your time.
Well, we'll listen, Dan, now that it's,
I have
Closed.
permission from the president.
the meeting's adjourned.
You can talk now, the meeting's over.
Are you gonna get me that motion so I can bring it back to the attorney?
My thoughts were simply this: we don't need paperwork to do this. All it requires is a yes from EMS and rural fire.
We need money.
I hear you.
Could you send
Understood.
the motion for the attorney?
You'll, oh,
And what we're
that's
talking, Jenny,
that's
what we're
fine,
talking,
that's fine,
what we're talking about is simply between now and 12/31, the end of the year.
yeah.
That's understood. I don't think there's a problem with that. We just simply agree in good faith to go forward in negotiation. You didn't hear anything about audit. You didn't hear anything about, well, there was an issue about the money. I suppose there's some validity there to be discussed. However, in order to get service back in the village, all it requires is a yes. I understand where you're coming from.
I need to talk to an attorney. I can't agree to anything without, the attorneys have already been called. You guys got the benefit of having an attorney. We needed the benefit of that attorney too.
Of course. I'm praying and hoping.
Yeah. Can somebody tell us what's being negotiated? What is holding this thing up for 6 stinking months?
Our attorneys have been conversing with an amended agreement to include financial oversight, possibly an audit, possibly a software upgrade. To date, that agreement has not been agreed upon by rural fire, which is why the village sent a notice of breach of contract, notice to cure. We did not receive a response for that.
That is in the liability insurance hands. We have nothing to do with that. Rural fire has nothing to do with that. That all went to liability
Well,
insurance.
I never got a reply, so.
Yeah, because the liability insurance, they will tell rural fire how to reply.
I never got a reply.
What is
So,
this, what is the $16,000? What is that
that's
balance
money,
from?
that's money the village paid to the rural fire.
To,
Based-
yeah, rural fire.
Based on the contract.
Is rural fire
Based
gonna
on
be
the
audited then?
25 contract.
It was based on the 25 contract. not
So
26.
the labor costs are not gonna be able to be covered for 26.
When you're talking about the audit for EMS, you mean rural fire, right? Cause they're the ones that hold the
Well,
taxpayer
it
money?
originally started audit of rescue. It's
But they don't
only
hold
You don't
taxpayer
have any
money.
of that included fire because there's problems on the fire side.
Isn't all this undermining the authority of rural fire? Trying to contract around rural fire? Cause you and I don't have a contract. When I say you and I mean Village and Rescue don't have a contract. Rural fire in the village has a contract.
for 2025, we haven't agreed on the 2026.
Right. So for me to answer that, I can't undermine the authority of rural fire, and I can't answer that without an attorney. This, I don't believe that any of this conversation was fair, and we were railroaded. We need more than 24 hours to call an attorney. Like, I didn't know if you guys were gonna ask us about CPR classes here. Nobody ever talked to me about what was even going on here.
Well, I did tell Dan last week that to let you guys know we were gonna have a meeting tonight.
That never got relayed back to rescue.
I did tell Dan last week.
Right, but you didn't notify the entity.
Mhm.
We have to, if you're gonna put us on the spot outside of rural fire, you gotta have the communication with us, Andy. We don't know what's going on.
I'm just incredulous that you're asking anybody to, in this situation, to operate without a contract. At this point, after 8 months of this back and forth, I don't know if I would trust good faith
You mean-
negotiations at this point.
In all
Negotiate for
honesty,
the
isn't
next
what
year.
you're gonna have to pay above and, what you paid county rescue for the last 2 months, and then what you'll have to pay for them for the rest of the year, is that gonna be more than what the above and beyond of the 25, the difference between the 25 and 26 contract, isn't it gonna be above and beyond that price? So at that point, the village is being charged, the residents are being charged even more money for,
Well, and to discuss, they noticed a claim.
right?
They did a notice of claim. We're mentioned in the potential for litigation. I can't talk about that outside of an attorney.
So Andy, in fairness, just in fairness, with not knowing what the topics were going to be, the questions were going to be that required answers from this meeting, would you have answered those questions without consulting your attorney?
I thought they were fair questions.
Not questioning,
Yeah.
questioning the questions themselves, they're fair
Yeah.
questions, they're absolutely fair questions, but if in the situation you're in, with attorneys involved, you had your attorney come in and help you and write those questions out to be answered from a legal response, and then you ask a member of the community that is representing the rural fire department or the rescue squad to answer those questions with legal ramifications without addressing any attempt at addressing their attorney. I gotta tell you, I've done a lot of different things in my 45-year business career, and there's no way in hell I would have answered that question without saying, I need to talk to my attorney before I can.
They have some time to do so.
But that
Yeah, John,
time,
but you-
that time is
What
running
time?
out.
What
though.
time?
2 days? 1 day?
I mean,
The amount of volunteer hours I have put towards this, Andy, to try to resolve this, to try to bend to the needs of the village, I've told you guys from the beginning, if you guys want an audit, and with Rebecca Bird making the misappropriation of funds comment, your due diligence is almost to have an audit to prove right or wrong. And I've said, let's do it.
Andy, I have a question. Who's providing the information to Attorney Sweeney from the village side? The board? Who's providing him with the information that he's basing his opinion on from the village? Who's he getting his information from? The board?
Well,
There's gotta be a voice here.
some of the information is provided in our board packet with the notice. So there's emails, there's minutes from meetings,
What
and that's
board
from the
member,
rural fire committee.
what board member has responsibility for communication with the village attorney?
Or employee.
What board member
Myself,
has requirement for communication with the village attorney?
I'm the most responsible person to do that, so.
Have you been the person that has been communicating directly with Attorney Sweeney?
Yes.
on this? You've carried that ball through that entire process, and you're the one that's directing the employment of Sweeney and how that's working, what he's working on.
Yes, and if you go back to the rural fire meeting a couple months ago, whatever it was, where the rural fire told us that we had to have the attorneys hash it out. Okay, so that, at that point, it was basically given over to Bob to discuss an agreement with Mr. Van Castle, the attorney for the town or the
Town.
town. So that's where the negotiations were occurring. And, there's, limited amount of stuff that I can interject in there, other than what's been discussed in meetings and emails and what have you.
What happened when we sat down at Rural Fire and we went paragraph by paragraph to try to pin out these contracts? What happened? Because when we got the contract back, all of a sudden there was software in there, there was all sorts of language in there.
That's what Bob was negotiating.
But Bob said that it came from the village. So, and that's part of the frustration is we thought we had this thing nailed down. And all of a sudden 4 brand new things came up.
If you're us and you're going to these meetings and you're reading these minutes, does it not jive the conversation and the paperwork that shows up after that? All of a sudden, we're talking about software that hadn't been discussed, we're talking about who can drive the ambulance, we're talking about all these strange
I don't
things.
know where that came from.
See, and that's the problem too though, Andy, is there's a whole bunch of stuff that's getting thrown out
I
there
don't-
that you don't know.
I don't
who's-
recall seeing anything.
We are the
somebody
customer.
Worried about.
You know,
it.
like
Has-
direct the conversations with Bob. All you're getting from him is this gonna cause us legal consequences? He doesn't need to write us the contract. That was done while we all sat there for 2 hours at the Rural Fire and went back and forth, and everybody agreed. We were all on a good page.
Have all of the attorneys and you and Shomish or Jenny or anyone like that, all of you been able to sit down in one room and say, this is what we wanna know, and then you have the people there to answer it? And we can ask questions and the people are there that can answer it. Has there ever been a meeting?
So we did ask for that at Rural Fire to have the village board, the town
Right.
board, and their attorneys.
Yes.
To sit down, have a discussion, and let's hash this out.
Mm-hmm.
Village did not. They did not want to do that.
At that time, we had that notice of breach. Was concerned.
But wouldn't that have been a good time to be able to discuss that as well and possibly avoid this last month and a half or 2 months since that came out? I mean, it could have avoided and been done and over with.
That notice of breach was just done this month.
Okay, so, well, even earlier in the month, it's better than waiting until the 25th to have a meeting and having it end on the need service on July 1st.
Andy, I believe in 3 things. People should be honest, fair, and transparent, and this tonight was not fair. You had legal representation, the village did, this group did not. That was not right. That is not how things are done.
They were
They have legal
blindsided.
representation this way, it's all locked up. You don't do it that way. I don't expect a lot from people, but I expect those 3 from every person I deal with. And if I don't get it, they're out. That is not right.
Okay.
You know better than that, Andy. You've got common sense, you know better than that. That wasn't fair.
Okay.
And it wasn't in the village's best interest. I think what you see here tonight are people who we know that their 10-year-old girl had a 40-minute almost response time when she was having seizures. We know that a man fell off of a truck at Saputo with a serious head injury with very long response time. We know these. Well, what are we waiting for?
How about my wife having a damn heart attack?
Right?
I'm sorry.
You're not
Sorry,
sorry.
Al. Sorry, no need to apologize.
Why don't the other communities have problems with this? Steve works for us here, and he doesn't have a problem with this.
I can't speak for them.
Nobody else has a problem but our village.
The other municipalities do not have Rebecca Bird.
It's just,
Oh, Justin.
Or Justin.
But Andy, you know, we have alternatives.
Well, we
Just
won't have them for
I'm
long.
not picking on you, just speaking of Belmont alternatives. Somebody gets hurt, somebody slides in the second, breaks an ankle, some kid falls off the playground equipment, somebody falls off the bleachers, and they call the ambulance, it's 125 yards away. We can't use that. You tell 300 people, you tell 100 grandparents there, we can't use that ambulance. This is ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I just don't know how this drags on like this. It's just stupidity. This tonight was Yes, it was not fair.
Have you asked Sweeney about the liability to the village if something happens?
Yes.
What was his reply?
I believe it goes back to, and I better not quote. Speaking of which, Red and Blues just went through town, so.
So I will say, just to put it on record, as a member of the rescue squad for 7 years, it's, as much as I wanna be serving everybody here, the board is making it hard and it's putting a weight on our shoulders like you wouldn't believe. Because we hear it from people.
From a personal, I'm sorry, from a personal
Right,
aside.
I know you were part of
How
it.
do you think I felt
Right.
when I got that email that Black Creek Rescue was not gonna respond in time?
Probably
So
very
I
similar
feel
to watching you,
same
Tim
thing you guys
Deermeyer,
are doing.
and Rebecca accusing me of misappropriation of funds.
That was,
Wrong,
yeah,
baseless.
that was 9/11.
And how about the, we own you? And how about the, well, you can't really help anybody anyways.
Can't save anyone.
We can't help
I can't
anybody.
speak for those comments. So
You
have to
can't, but they're
take them
coming
out.
from your board, Andy. You
And-
wanna talk about hurt feelings?
And we never even got an apology from her.
We're
of any
volunteers,
sort.
trying to serve you, trying to bend to whatever needs you want. Less money, okay, less money. You want an audit? Sure. Do an audit. I don't have money to pay for it, but you can have one. You want new software? That's fine, but you gotta buy it. Like, I'm not sure what need I haven't met.
And we're not only trying to serve and help the people, but like the software thing, we're trying to protect them as well. Because their information does not need to go, right.
Yeah, we
But-
have to. Which somebody should
Right,
have
we
known
have to,
because-
but at that same point, I would want something HIPAA, you know, if,
Compliant.
Can I just say, I think that tonight could have been very productive. I think it was a good idea. I think the concept was a very good idea. I just wonder why, if this meeting was known days before, why wasn't EMS contacted and said, hey, you guys, we might have some questions for you, bring your attorney, because if they would have had their attorney here, maybe this could be done. Maybe this could be done, but instead you wait till 24 hours before.
predict What our board is gonna decide prior to the meeting. I had an idea.
But why didn't you
But
share
you
that with
telling Rural
them?
Fire doesn't notify us. Dan by himself is just a resident without a board. Calling Dan, I mean, you're calling a resident.
But
Dan's-
the point that John was making, would you have done this without Bob? Like, if it's not a big deal for rescue to not have their representation, maybe the village should have, and I don't want that as a resident, but maybe the village should have had Bob's.
Or maybe we could have sat down and had just a conversation like we are now.
Yeah,
Not everything has to be a fight, you know?
I wish it wasn't.
and,
But
but the
sending
opportunity
that
for
letter
the
didn't
people
help.
that this is affecting to talk about it with the people that are making the decisions that affect them would be a big help. Because so many people don't understand or know what's going on because they don't get a chance to ask their questions, and they may have very valid questions that you could answer, but nobody will answer because they're not allowed to talk. You know, and like, at that meeting when the comment was made to Shannon, it was that people that, I'm sorry, you don't pay taxes into the village, you can't talk. You're right, I don't pay taxes into the village, I pay my taxes to the town of Black Creek, but I serve the village. So if it's something that involves something that I am part of, why can't I talk? And not just me, anybody on the fire or rescue side. Dwight, our fire chief, wasn't allowed to talk, but he's the fire chief. Like, things like this are what don't make sense, and we don't get the option or opportunity to question or say.
There's a whole aspect of open meetings, and allowing people to speak, and it's happened more than a few times where somebody goes off the rails and off the agenda, is rude and disrespectful, you know, so that's the hard part as the chair of any community meeting, you know.
But they also could be doing that
is-
because they don't get the
I mean,
information.
Because they're frustrated. And also, you have a right to be rude and disrespectful. I don't condone it,
Yeah.
but any citizen, they don't have to be polite and they don't have to be respectful when they're speaking to the board that is not transparent. That is a First Amendment
Right,
right.
I was
I
just
don't
gonna
have
say,
to be
it's a two-way
respectful. And we are feeling
Well,
incredibly
if
disrespected right
that's the
now.
case,
Incredibly.
How are we going to keep people interested in serving the community as a trustee?
Be
As a
transparent.
village president, if people would,
Just be transparent.
But
There-
how are
like
you-
I,
How are you
I,
gonna keep people serving
wait,
in
I
our
asked a
position?
question during the speaking time at one of the last few meetings. And I understand you're not being dismissive, but it comes off as very dismissive when all we get is, okay, anybody else?
Yeah.
And Dan even asked, are we gonna answer their questions? And you said, we'll answer them when we talk about it on the agenda. That is not, I understand you're trying to go by the rules, but we're at a point here in this village where this is serious stuff and we're getting shut out of it. We can call you all day long and tell you, but then we come to the meetings and it's like you never even heard what we said. And we're tired. We're just tired and we're scared and we're worried. And if you wouldn't have ambushed them tonight, I really feel like that could have been a solution. And now here we are, what, 4 days before this contract ends? Now this is what we're doing? Why weren't we doing this 2 weeks ago? Or why weren't we giving them notice? Hey, we're gonna have this meeting. Things might come up. You don't have to say they will, just say they might. Like, it could have been so simple. It could have been so simple. Just think ahead and just think, how am I impacting the people that live here? My God,
Out of curiosity, when
it just
meetings-
seems so stupid. None of this needs to even be happening.
When meetings are decided upon, like when you decide you're going to call a meeting, how long does whoever posts it have to post it from the time you decide of meeting? Not, I know it's 24 hours prior to the meeting, but like, can you say, say today, I'm gonna we're gonna have a meeting in 2 weeks, and then that person waits and whoever's gonna post it, she can wait until 24 hours prior to
Yep,
post it?
that's what they do. But they don't have to.
Going that way, A, nobody can plan. B,
Yep.
that would give people an opportunity to talk to people to find out information to bring forth and possibly have attorneys if needed.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I'm
And one more thing, I'm sure you watch TV and see all this data center stuff going up. You see those rooms are packed full of people, whether you're for it or against it, and a lot of them get to speak, I don't know if they have to sign up ahead of time, but they have a say. We just don't have that.
Yep.
And that's why people get frustrated. And we're all trying to keep our cool here tonight, and everybody did, but it's frustrating. It just isn't done the way it's supposed to be.
Well, there's public comment period, that's.
I don't know, tonight-
And
But
then
there
we
wasn't
get,
tonight.
okay, next, and that's all we get.
And there wasn't tonight. This is all off record.
Yeah, there was no. I think people here,
They don't want to,
Yeah.
I don't understand, and
That's-
I,
else does the board want?
I just really don't understand the idea that the board would think they would agree to provide service without a contract. No offense.
Who does that?
But who does that, especially after the history of the last 8 months? I can't fathom that. I just can't.
I live in the village, okay? I'm on rescue, I live in the village. I have small children. I hate all of this. For me, for my family, for you, for all of you. You want an audit, great. You gotta pay for it, cause we cut our budget already to make this work for everybody. Okay? You want different software, you want this, you want these reports, like Corey said, we'll bring it. what are we even fighting about anymore?
That's what we don't understand.
What have
cut
we
all
not
this
given
money,
you
and now you're
that
wanting
you
us to
want?
spend all this money that we don't have.
Yes.
I think,
We have-
Andy, what we want is what I had, the day I had my heart attack, and you were there in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
And the ambulance was there, I think in 5. And I'm here. Until we get this settled, if Charlie has a heart attack, that might not work for him. So, you know, we're just concerned that we have a good.
can't we just
service.
sign the contract? They've agreed to everything, can't we just be done with it?
And like Jenny said, we want to serve the village. I mean, I think we've done a good job over the
You
last
have.
however many years. We want to do it. And we've basically said we'll do whatever you need us to do, except we can't afford it. And at this point, I don't even know what's still holding this up, but then to ask us to say, oh yeah, we'll start back up July 1st to continue negotiations for what? What are we still negotiating? For how many more
You
months?
could turn the table and you could
The
say,
agreement that the attorneys were working on.
Well, and I thought we made good progress on that, and then we get served a notice, like, we
I
were
think that was
making good progress, I
ill-timed.
thought.
but you could turn the table and you could say, village, just sign the agreement and we'll continue to
Continue to
negotiate in good
negotiate,
faith
yeah.
Yeah.
on issues that you just, I mean, the opposite can be true also. You can turn the tables and have it work the other way. And that's in the best interest of the 1,300 people who live here.
Just need to get it done.
The
Yes.
people that care are here. The people that don't seem to care aren't here.
Well, they
And
just
they're-
don't
we're-
know.
we're
They
telling you
don't
what we
know.
want.
They don't know.
They don't know.
But a lot of them don't even know about the meetings.
Every meeting we've had, it's, everybody's for getting this contract signed. And yet, we're not doing it. You're not doing what we want you to do. You represent us.
All the constituents are for it.
Yes. You should do what we want to be done and sign the damn contract.
And we probably would have more people at the meetings if everybody knew
If they
about
knew.
the
Bet you
meetings.
80% of the
But you have to
residents
go
don't
to
know.
wherever it's posted,
You
to know that it's
don't know
happening.
what's going on with this ambulance.
Because
80%
there's no
don't know.
newsletter, no
I look
transparency.
at John Meinelsmith, Max, he's got serious problems. I bet you he has no clue what's going on.
Yep.
And we
People
are
don't know.
basically your bosses.
Don't tell Rebecca that.
Yeah.
Rebecca told us.
I mean, Andy, 3, 4, 5 months ago, everyone should have got a newsletter, a notice, this is what's going on. You know,
Yes.
Everybody that pays a water bill should have got a notice,
I had-
nobody knows a damn thing.
I had, some president updates on the website.
And do you remember the text that I sent you about those?
Mhm.
I don't think there's anybody in this village who spends more time on the village website than me, and I didn't know they were there because they are not being put in a place where
And
anybody
I
is gonna know.
understand, we're supposed to send a newsletter, we're supposed to put something in the paper, we're supposed to, I mean, am I supposed to go door to door and hang notices?
We haven't, we're supposed to do that.
That's not what we mean.
As long as I've been on the board, we can send
Just sign the
letters and
contract.
notices, and people don't read them.
Just sign the contract.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
Sign the contract.
You don't gotta notice anything, you don't gotta do it, just sign the contract.
Once you know how the constituents feel, vote and act the way the constituents want.
Well, you have to remember, there's multiple people on the board.
Please.
There's multiple people on the board that have a vote, and you have to make sure you have votes. What I would say, Andy, is I appreciate you staying here to have this.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. I do,
I'll
yes,
forward you.
yes.
That's
Thank you.
something that we haven't had in the past, right? So I can appreciate you standing there and having to take this, but I also say, you put your name on the dotted line to be president of this village, and that comes with some responsibility. And that responsibility is leadership for the group and the board. This is, and like it or not, at the end of the day, this rolls up to you, right? This is, I mean,
But
it doesn't go any farther, right? I mean, it comes, I'm the boss at work, and the problems are mine, whether they're solved or not, or what those problems are, and this rolls up to that. Now, you had cats to herd on the board, and I understand that, but I think it's it is up to you to set the direction, the way the board goes. And you've got some cats you've got a herd yet, but
Yeah,
you, I mean, I think the village is speaking to you to put your leadership pants on, pull them up high, and wade into the problem you've got on the board
Yeah,
that's
and-
causing this,
And
right? Because
I understand that.
I think
But
there's
like
the-
you alluded to earlier, me being president, I'm actually just a glorified check signer and contract signer.
I argue-
No, you're the quarterback of the team, you're the
Just
leader.
let me, I can't go to Noah, Natalie, Dan, whoever, and say, hey, guys, I think we need to do this. That can only occur at a meeting.
I understand that. I'm not proposing you do anything outside of the legal bounds of this. But what I'm saying is, as the leader of the board, when Rebecca Bird said that, or when Shannon said that, there should have been an immediate admonishment of that, saying that, because those are the
Public.
things that set the tone for the negotiation. Those are the things that hardened everybody's position into this, that caused all the emotions, that caused this problem. And this is, looking at this as an outside perspective, this is, the problem with this negotiation is it's now an emotional negotiation. I've been in business for 45 years, and business is math, right? Either the math works or it doesn't. If you're telling me the math doesn't work, that's one thing. But nobody's here saying we can't afford this, right? Nobody's saying we can't afford this. So there's something else that's causing this. And that's the emotional part of this, because you got people that don't believe each other. Now you got people that are hardened in a position because they've been told they can't do what they're trained to do, or they've been denigrated for volunteering for doing what they do, and all of that. And that came from your board under your leadership,
Yes.
right? That's on you.
I did respond to those individuals, okay? I did respond to them. I did not respond at the meetings, what that meeting where you're talking about where Rebecca, I tried several times to tell her, we can't talk about that here, okay? The only other thing I could have done is just adjourn the meeting. You know, the same thing with when Shannon made that comment.
That's what you
As a
said.
longtime
Censure.
EMT, I was appalled she made that comment.
What you
And
should have done
before
right
I
there-
could address it, we had members of the audience up in her grill yelling at her. I had to call a recess.
Absolutely. And you should have called her right out of that recess, right out into the hallway, and said, we have to have a conversation on how we conduct ourselves on
I
this
did.
board.
I did.
And then brought her back in and said, you need to go back in there, you need to apologize to those people.
Hindsight's easy to say.
I understand, but
I did
that's,
address those matters with those individuals.
that's your responsibility to help and set the stage for where the village needs to go. It's not you're not a glorified check writer, Andy. That's not the position that this village elected you to. This village elected you to a leadership position to set the tone and the direction for the village. That's what the president's job is. It's not glorified check writer. You have to maintain the order of your board. That's your responsibility. I think you can look that up. What's the president's responsibility? Village president, maintaining the order, setting the direction, all of that. That's your responsibility. And if a board member gets out of line, it's also your responsibility in open session to call them out on that. But I think what you've got now is you've got so many emotions in this, and now you've got lawyers involved that are trying to, now you're picking it apart, but then you've got the emotions, and you've got
Okay,
everybody
I get it,
involved.
John. I'm not perfect. I apologize. If you think I wanted to be here having that discussion, I'm sorry.
Got one more comment.
I mean,
I just wanna know what we're negotiating.
No.
No, that's not what anybody said.
Two other board members that should resign.
Yeah.
You know, I've sat here and listened to this for an hour. Valid points. Everybody spoke from their hearts, just like I did a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
I dang near, before he started the open session, made a suggestion that we open with a word of prayer. I think most of us are Christian. If ever we needed divine assistance, it's now. But I don't think anything's more important than the Christian virtue of forgiveness to get past this high emotions, which John has eloquently mentioned. Guys, we've already shot the horse 20 times. How many more times can we kill it? Here's the point. Let's get over the emotion side of it and get the contract signed. That's everything that you've been saying. We hear, I hear, Andy has heard. Unfortunately, I think sometimes the emotions are getting the best of us. And that's unfortunate because it doesn't need to be that way. All right, let's go to the bottom right-hand corner. I'm not at liberty to discuss what was said during the closed meeting. It's against the rules, against the law. I'd get busted if I did. However, I can say this. Our legal counsel does not want to go to litigation. So if that's a concern, put it in the ground, bury it.
So why was it a threat then?
Here's a really good answer for that. It is the board's belief that the contract that they had an evergreen clause within it. Now, agreed or not agreed, that was their opinion collectively, the consensus. And because of that, they made the response that Bob responded to. Do we think as a board that we should pursue a legal response to this? There's not one person here, not on the board, not anywhere else that wants that, because of course the cost would be prohibitive. Nobody wants that. In fact, I think everybody wants a contract. I would have loved Jenny to say, yeah, let's do this. But I certainly understand Jenny's viewpoint. She can't speak without legal representation. There's people here that have served on the EMS squad for years. And righteously so, dutifully so, and with honor and dignity, they've done that. Can't we just forgive and get this thing done? It doesn't need to be pushed, and you've made some good points though, and there are some valid points that still need to be addressed. Understood.
So at this point, based on Andy's questions, the evergreen argument is dead.
Share with me your thoughts on it, I'm interested.
Andy asked to negotiate the 2026 contract.
He did?
The evergreen argument is based on the fact that we're still negotiating the 2025 agreement. If we're negotiating 2026, there is no evergreen, we're starting over.
Well, let me ask a question. Do we have ink on the 25?
No. It's dead.
Did we ever have ink on the 25? Now, I'm a new member of the board, so I don't know the answer to that.
No, there was never ink on the 25 to my understanding. And within that evergreen contract, the ambulance exercised the cancellation clause in that contract. And that's how we got to where we got, right?
There's some differences of opinion there, and that's understood.
It's
However,
written on paper, I guess.
I know.
Understand the differences of opinion, but based on Andy's question, we're looking at a 2026 contract.
Yes.
Which should be everything that we sat down line by line.
Right.
Went through before the goalpost moved again. We're in the 2026, so the evergreen argument is dead.
I hear your point. Why can't we just go for the next 6 months and be good?
we agree.
Get it over with. I think that's what you're, isn't that what you're saying? That's what we're all saying.
But then why is he asking them to service while you continue negotiating? It's like, what negotiating? Just sign the contract. Oh my God.
That's where, like, we're not trying to hammer on you guys.
I know you're not. I know you're not. You just want the same thing. We're constituents.
Because
just like
stuff
you
doesn't
are.
make sense. It's like we all agree on this stuff, and now we're not signing it. We have to negotiate because the attorney said something. It's like, well, what? That's why we don't understand. We don't
I think,
understand.
If I'm corrected, this is the county, not the,
We do not want that one signed.
well,
And there will be mutiny if that one gets signed. Somebody needs to do the right thing and just get this signed.
we have the
One,
votes to
two,
do
three,
it.
four, do it.
Yeah.
You have the 4 votes
Yes.
over 3. You got 4 to 3.
It's a
Why aren't you
different
signing
board
this?
than it was when it was shot down last
4
time.
to 3.
Well, let's get
Call a
couple
vote.
things- Let's get a couple things out of the way. All those things that Rebecca said and Shannon and all that, can we just get a shovel out and bury them? Let's get the contract signed. There isn't any reason in the world.
That's what everybody in this room, I'm guessing, wants. I just don't understand why it's
And
not
I hear you.
happening then.
I haven't heard anybody say tonight that I've still got to stick up for what was said. Yes, were our feelings hurt? Probably. Okay, but heck, we can get over that. We're Christians, we believe in forgiveness. We can get on with it. And your point is exactly the same. Get on with the vote. Now, here, let's say this next meeting, Natalie says, I would like to make a motion to get this contract signed.
It's
Didn't we
gotta
just
be
say
on the-
that?
it's
Didn't we
gotta
just
be
put a
on the
motion
agenda.
forward to do that?
It's gotta
Zach?
be on the agenda.
No, you did not. The motion was to continue negotiating while they offer services or continue services without a contract.
Ellen, you're right there. You're
That's
right.
what it was. It was not to sign. If it was to sign the contract and you guys,
We'd all be gone.
yeah,
We'd
we'd be
out
all,
drinking
honest to God,
champagne.
would have been cheering. They would have heard screams of joy outside.
I still don't understand what the points of contention are that need to be negotiated. That's what I'm confused.
That's a really good question on my mind as well.
And it's sad that the constituents that
answer.
show up to these meetings, time after time after time after time, and we still don't even know what in the hell is stopping us from signing this.
Lawyer versus lawyer.
It is, it was moving along some until the lawyers got
Yes.
involved. And I'm sorry if anybody in here is a lawyer, but, it just, all of a sudden,
Well, Dan,
things
We
stopped.
can't know. 'cause
this
it's
could have
not
been done
closed
tonight
meeting.
if it was done fairly.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
If they have legal representation.
If they had
this is
legal
probably-
representation,
this is
we
probably
could have done it.
If they would,
wasn't-
yes,
it wasn't
I'm sure
done
they would have
fairly.
agreed to
wasn't
it.
done fairly. And that's not Jenny's fault.
Well, the board didn't know about the meeting until last 24 hours anyway. We didn't know it any sooner than you guys did.
See, that shouldn't happen.
I'm sorry, dear, what?
How come I read already?
We had gotten an email a week ago about the meeting.
You did, about this meeting?
Yeah.
Andy
So
said
why
that he
wasn't
scheduled a
it
meeting.
posted for the community?
Where was I?
Yeah, I think, can you guys make a motion that we don't wait till the very 24 hours and 59 minutes to post it? Because maybe there's more people that would like to be at these meetings, but they can't.
Now, those meetings are posted a little late. I think sometimes they can be
Yeah.
posted a few days sooner. And I don't know if that's strategy, I don't know.
If you have an agenda and you have the meeting scheduled, then put it out there.
I think it's strictly Barb trying to
Right.
follow the law.
That's a problem.
I'm
No,
not-
following the law says you can't put it less than 24 hours. Doesn't say you can only put it at 24 hours.
Melanie, I agree with you completely.
Well, you're her boss.
If you guys will, and the only reason I know is because, I don't know,
Here's one of the
Sam?
problems here. Can I just interrupt for a second? The notice for this meeting was posted here yesterday at 3:19.
That's my point.
This building was not even frickin' open to the public yesterday. So the public only got 2 notifications, 2 spots.
Well, it was
Village
probably
Hall.
posted on the office wall as well.
Village Hall and the
Yeah.
post office.
Which isn't open anyway.
But they are required 3
But it's
spots,
posted so you can read
24
it.
hours.
But it's not open, I agree.
The only problem is, yeah, you can post meetings online, but, and people
People
but
aren't
not
checking
everybody
online
has
every day.
the internet.
If everybody
know.
would go into, to ask Barb, that if you could get an email
or to,
You can sign up for it on the website, except I didn't get it. I
You
didn't
still
get
only
one
get
for
those
this time.
notices Whenever she posts them.
I got mine
The text
yesterday
message.
afternoon.
You're not gonna get it
Yesterday
sooner,
afternoon.
yeah, that's true.
But what I'm saying is the village is required 3 notifications, 3 spots they have designated, this building, village hall, and the post office. This is no good, because she came down here at 3:19 and posted this yesterday and this building was closed to the public.
So that was useless.
It's useless. They've done this before, and we've asked them to change this. They won't.
On a Wednesday?
All they have to do is either put,
Put it on the door.
they could put it on the door, or what they should do is like a lot of municipalities, put an enclosure on the wall outside that blocks,
oh yeah,
and they can put them in there.
on the inside
Right.
window.
Well, guys, I can't speak for the president, but I can speak for myself. We will do everything we can possibly do to get this thing signed, because it's unfair to ask, I'm gonna bawl. It's unfair to ask that we pay with the lives of our kids, our parents, our spouses, in the currency of hubris. If pride is what's stopping this, then we already know the answer from the scriptures, don't we? It's pride that goes before fall. And I think in all honesty, I'm not willing to point fingers one way or the other, guys, because I'm in the middle of this as a constituent, just like you are. But I pledge my support to do everything possible to get service back in the community. I'm just as vulnerable as you are. I've had 2 strokes and a heart attack, and I don't wanna go for a trifecta any more than the rest of us. So you have our complete trust, faith, in good faith. We'll do our best to get this thing done. And in all honesty, I think Andy wants it done as well. I really do.
I believe that.
I really do. There's a guy
I
with a
do.
good heart.
He's got good intentions, he really
True.
does.
And he's
So-
one of us.
Yes, and he has been for a long time. For those who have served on the EMS, good heavens, there isn't anybody here that doesn't know that Andy was on the board on the EMS squad for a long time.
He was my instructor.
34 years, I think he had in.
So my point being is Andy's heart is in the right place. But as John will tell you, there are legal ramifications and parameters that we all have to live with. Notwithstanding John's points that he made during the meeting, because I think that he made good points and they were valid. So having said that, we're gonna do everything we can to get this thing signed. Now, having said that, we are willing. I don't think the board is fighting this, not for 1 second. I do think that on Jenny's side, they have to make some decisions, perhaps under legal counsel. I understand, we all do. But I hope they understand that we're not against them. We're not foes, we're not adversaries. We want to, just as any constituent does, we want to be in good faith and be a good neighbor like everybody else. We want the ability to feel safe, just like everybody else, and we should. Good heavens, guys, there's not many people here that pay higher property taxes than we do. We're not going there, don't bring it up.
One fight is enough.
My point, I guess, is this: we'll do everything we can to push this, to get it done. I really, truly do not think that we're that far apart. I don't. I'm gonna try to give Jenny a call and Dan a call. It really isn't just Dan and Jenny's call. It's not their signatures that we have to have. But whoever signatures we need, for heaven's sake, let's get them done. We're not that far off. And if we can just get rid of the volcanic emotions that we've been talking about and issuing and giving us, we just don't need it. It'd be like somebody screaming from the pulpit in church. Guys, we don't need it.
I don't think there's any emotion in saying that. I would be absolutely shocked if legal representation would advise Black Creek Rescue to provide service without a contract. I don't think that that's going to happen.
I sure hope it does. I really
Can they
do.
even do that legally?
For them, I don't want it to happen. That doesn't make sense to me that somebody would say to rural.
How about if you do
"Please go ahead
this?
and do this."
How about if you take the contract that everybody agreed to, both sides sat there
Not
for
this
2
one.
hours?
This is the county contract. that I'm
Nope,
putting out.
nope,
That's
I'm
not what we
talking
want.
about, nope, I'm talking about the
The
one
26.
that, where we sat at that firehouse for 2 hours, going over it line by line, both sides gave their give and take, and they came up with something that was agreeable. How about if you take that contract, have a special meeting next week, and you guys sign it? That's what I vote we do. Can I take a vote? Everybody who's with me? All right, it's done.
I'm
That's
with
what we're
you.
doing.
However, will Bill say yes to that?
Bill,
I don't know.
Gotta get the other guy there too. Get
Bill
the other guy
Sweeney?
there, too.
I know.
Bill is the town attorney.
oh,
Bob is Bob Sweeney.
yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, well,
At stake if he
what I
suffers a heart
was,
attack?
what I was referring to is Bill Vandercastle, who is the attorney for the town. He's the other side of this that isn't being adequately represented tonight. But that was what she was referring to, the council that she was referring to. They'll weigh in.
Yeah, but
If Jenny was, go ahead.
can't you guys just make the decision to sign it?
I think
Like,
in
you
all
don't
honesty,
have
we
to
would.
go, I mean, I know I get you don't wanna go against legal counsel, but at this point, legal counsel on both sides is just ridiculous. Can we just have common sense and say, listen, we've worked this out between us, it's only like half a year,
I
let's
actually
just
think
do
we would
this.
it. I actually think we'd get ink right now. If we were all here, I actually think we could get the,
Then do it.
I know. But that's only half. It's a one-legged contract at that point though, Melanie.
We should have had this discussion before all the board.
I agree.
members left. To who went out first? No, Rebecca and Justin. Andy stood here and listened.
I know.
Listening, and it's awful.
And ironically, they're the two that caused the problem.
What's happening, and they riddled the door.
But let's not relight the fire again.
Let's just sign the contract.
Get it
No one should
signed.
have to go through what I had to go through Sunday morning.
That's correct.
I had a choice of 29 minutes with county rescue or 12 minutes, like I'm about out of hell, to take my wife to the hospital. And I chose driving ourselves.
Nobody should have to do it.
No,
Which
she-
is-
No one should have
which
to
is dangerous.
decide one way or the other.
I won't
And I'm
ask you how
sorry
fa-
for
how
this
fast
video
you drove.
if I upset you with my email.
You didn't. Because every one of us could have wrote that letter.
And I calmed it down a whole bunch.
You know, it's Justin.
Well-
and said, "Weird about it."
Well, I would like you to
On the
do,
money.
I would ask you to just do whatever you need to do to get whatever parties need to be together before the 1st. Please, please do not make us have to have county for the rest of the year. Because once we pay county, we can't afford to pay anybody else. That's gonna be it. And I don't know
That's
that
our
we can even
desire.
afford county.
That's our desire. We are not pushing county. We're not pushing that. Get that-
I know, but if it doesn't get done next week, that's what's gonna happen. It has to.
So we're pushing. We just want you
I
to know we're doing
appreciate
all
it.
we can.
I know.
So Dan, if we have to re-up with the county rescue for the month of July, and I think we would be at $2,500 a month.
They won't do it for the month. You have to do it for the year.
That's what my question is.
3,500, wasn't it?
Is it 3,500?
I don't know what it is per month.
It's more than the 25.
3,300.
It's 33.
That was my
Per
question.
month?
They're gonna keep, they're
But
losing
it's 6
patience, they're gonna
months,
keep
not
jacking
one.
it up.
Right,
Well, and
yes.
from a power standpoint, they don't have to, why not?
Right, I don't
If I was
blame
in their view, if I was them, I'd do the same thing.
I don't blame you. I don't blame
Bye.
you.
My limo's now leaving.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys
Unfortunately, I
staying.
got the keys to
You
my
didn't
car.
have to, and I do appreciate it. I know you guys all have things to do, but
Well, you guys.
we
are
appreciate
important.
being heard. I think we felt not heard for a very long time, and so it's really
We care.
I'm gonna get
We
emotional
want you
too
to know
now.
we care.
It's really meaningful to us to be heard, because we're not just crabby people that are here wanting to make your life miserable, screaming at you every meeting. It really matters to us, and it matters that you hear us, and I appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you very much.
Yeah, and what you just said, Dan, that you care, that we matter.
You do.
We've been told for 5 years by one of the current board members, She doesn't work for us, she doesn't answer us, she doesn't have to listen to us.
Well,
We
forget
don't
that, that
matter.
doesn't exist anymore, that's buried, right?
Well, that
She's
one,
on the
made that
board.
decision.
yeah, but you know what? She doesn't have any power anymore.
I know.
Well,
She does not have any power anymore. She had power when she
Well
was in
said.
a majority. She's not anymore. One person or even two people on the board has no power.
she just shouted that at us. so-
I could be wrong, but I think there's 2 or 3 spots on the board that are opening up this next year, so if you have anybody or.
I do. Go talk to my
We're trying to
husband.
get her.
What?
Did you say you wanna run now, Lane?
name and be like, surprise, you're on the board now.
I already have a
It's gonna
job.
be a write-in.
I have a YouTube channel. I can't. It's my retirement.